I'm here in Cartagena, Colombia, and it's about halfway through this grand adventure, and I figured it's time to take a break from the philosophy and maybe just check in for a second. Making these things is kind of a little tough. It takes me a bit of time to figure out what I'm going to shoot, come up with a theme, write a script for the stuff that I'm going to say over it, and actually finally put the stuff together. One of the biggest goals that I had when creating this series was to make sure that at least the audio would be good. So every time you hear the beginning of a clip, you actually hear check 1, 2, check 1, 2. And what that does is it just helps me make the audio a little bit cleaner, because otherwise you'd pretty much just hear wind, or you won't hear me at all if I'm standing far away. Because even right now, I'm pretty far away from the camera, but you can still hear me just fine because I have a microphone right here. Now, don't get me wrong, doing this whole video series has been a really rewarding experience because it's more than just photos, which is what I usually take, and it gives me a chance to be a little creative when I have some downtime. But before I was in a city, it took forever to upload a video. I mean, if you can imagine, being in the middle of a jungle doesn't really have fast internet, so that's something that I kind of struggled with. Anyway, so I didn't really have a plan for today's episode, so I kind of want to just maybe toss in some things that I have been doing in the past few days and kind of maybe take you a little bit more behind the scenes for how this sort of video series is made. All right, well, let's get to it. I am here in Bajo Mono, which is outside the town of Boquete in Panama, and I am just about to start on a little hike called the Lost Waterfalls, or the Three Waterfalls, depending on who you ask. And as you can see, I'm on a hanging bridge right over a wonderfully fast-flowing river. I made it to the first waterfall. That's 1 out of 3. And it's a beautiful area. Just take a look. All right, well, on to number 2. Making a solo travel video is super hard because so many things can go wrong. You sometimes forget what you're trying to say and you have to reshoot a scene. All right, you do. Or your camera isn't exactly where you want it, ruining the shot. But eventually you do get it right. As you can see, behind me is waterfall number 2. Now to get to waterfall number 3, it's a bit longer and it's a bit harder. So I think I might have a swim first, but then I'll make it over to waterfall 3. See you there. I'm taking a quick detour before heading to waterfall 3. You'll see why in a second. This is the top of waterfall 2. It looks like a long way down, so I'm not going to go any further. But anyway, back to waterfall 3. I apologize in advance for however many movies and videos this may ruin for you, but I just wanted to show you a little bit behind the scenes of the first scene of this video. As you might notice, I actually have to physically walk over to the camera, start it, and walk away in order to be able to get a scene that works like this. I'm here in Cartagena, Colombia. Look what I have to do. All right, well, come along with. All right, ready? Let's climb up this thing. That wasn't so bad. Oh, that's another one. Not too bad. You can see waterfall 2 from here. We're headed to waterfall 3. In case you've never made a video before, here are a few things that I have to make sure that I go through. First, I have to find some royalty-free music that I like. Then, I want to make sure I go out and actually do things that are worth having on camera, but at the same time, I try to balance when it actually makes sense just to enjoy the moment. Then I download, optimize, and back up my footage so I can actually work on my little laptop that I'm carrying along. And during that time, I start putting together a storyline, and then I come back and I start recording any voiceovers that I need to have. Finally then, I export and upload to YouTube so you all can enjoy. Alright, so this is waterfall number 3, and it's also about the closest that I can get without getting soaked. It's been a nice hike, and now I just gotta make my way all the way out. Alright, well, talk to you in a bit. Well, I made it. I made it to all 3 waterfalls and I made it out just fine. So, now it's time for the Panama Canal. To avoid going all the way around South America, boats have to cross from here, one of the last locks moving from the Atlantic, to there, the Pacific Ocean. The problem is that the water levels of both areas are vastly different. To solve this, the Miraflores lock pumps in seawater to help equalize the water levels. The second problem is that the giant cargo ships have to carefully make it through the channel. That's why they have these electric trains to move the ship. They attach ropes to the front and back of the ship. And help guide the ship through the narrow passageway. But they can only do this once the water has been equalized and the gates open. Finally, after so much work and about an hour of time, passenger boats and cargo ships alike can sail through to the other side of the world. Every story has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you saw that in the Panama Canal story. However, this story is unfortunately halfway over. Well, I look forward to seeing any feedback that you might have or any comments that you might have on this journey. You can leave them down below here, or you can actually just contact me directly if you know me personally. I have a few ideas for what I want to do for the next few videos, but they require a little bit of help from some strangers, so let's see how that works out. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one, where we talk a little bit, hopefully, about language. See you then.